Hello everyone, it's Courtney and good morning. Forgive me if my voice isn't exactly up to par. I woke up not too long ago. But I really wanted to sit down and make this vlog for you guys. Honestly, because I'm feeling a little nervous this morning before I go into rehearsal, and that's because our last rehearsal was Wednesday. Today is Monday. Our last rehearsal was Wednesday, and on that day, I noticed morale was kind of low with the cast and with myself. I don't know if that was just me feeding off of the cast or if it was my own morale that was low. Um, but I realized, you know what, these vlogs are specifically meant to document not only the highs of the show, not only the funny moments and the bonding moments of the cast, but for me to also sit down as a director and document sometimes the lows. And honestly, this might not even be a low. This might just be me over exaggerating, but that's also part of the process. So, yeah, Wednesday morale was low for the cast. And I think I understand it in that, between blocking, so when you're blocking a show, you have to have your script there. You need to be writing down where you need to stand or where you need to cross or where you need to exit and enter. And so your script there isn't as much of an issue. And when you're blocking, the show's brand new. The content's new. So you're at a point where you're reading the content of the show, and to you, it's brand new. So it's funny, and you get all those really funny moments as an audience would seeing it for the first time. So it's this brand new experience, and you're learning your castmates and you're understanding how they operate too. And then when you're off book and you stop reading off the script, you can truly interact with your cast in a way that the audience will later see. And you're interacting with them in a way that's like, I can start holding and shaking your hand if I need to. I can embrace you. I can pick things up and put things down and move things around and do all this stuff because I don't have my script in my hand and I don't need to worry about that. So right now, we're kind of in between those two periods. It's not brand new anymore, so the things that were funny aren't as funny to us because we've read them already a bunch of times. We've run scenes multiple times for both casts, for the understudies and the mains, and we've already gotten past that early fresh stage, but we can't interact with each other yet because, we still have scripts in our hands. And albeit I gotta credit some of my castmates for really pushing to get off book. I only asked to be off book, I think, next Monday, so they still have a full week to be off book. But some of my castmates are really pushing to get there early because they want to interact, which is great, and I love seeing that. On Wednesday, though, I noticed morale was kind of low. The schedule for rehearsal was 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. And when I scheduled these rehearsals, I tried to make them not super long because while I don't have classes that day, my cast does. And, when the earliest you can schedule rehearsal for a weekday is 5 p.m., you don't want to go too late because they've already been doing everything else that day. And, I have commuting castmates and things like that. So I don't want to overdo their schedule. On Wednesday, we started late because one of my castmates didn't know what time rehearsal started. So we had to wait for him to come because he doesn't have an understudy. We actually lost his understudy. So, he's all by himself, and God bless his soul for being able to still do what he does without an understudy and not having that other person to go off of. But, he was late, and that's fine. It's understandable. So we got started late. And I only had a couple scenes scheduled. But I realized early in rehearsal that day that people were just not all there. The motivation wasn't there, the morale wasn't very high. So I said to them, what do you guys want to do? And I thought by giving them that freedom and that option, there's something they've been itching to do, they could tell me, and that was their opportunity too. So we wound up doing the 2 scenes I scheduled, and it was like pulling teeth to try and drag out other scenes for them to do because we're at a point now where the timing of the scene is relatively solid, and that's where it's going to be for the final product. So we didn't need 3 hours to do 2 scenes. So I got a couple more scenes out of them, and we managed to get them done or whatever. We did a scene that was a fight. It was over muffins, you know. It was funny. It's a funny scene. And in the past, historically, with this cast, they've done it so over the top every time. And actually, it's gotten bigger and bigger every time we've done it. The more we've added props or things to do with it. And on Wednesday, just wasn't happening. And as a director, it's hard to know, or that I'm finding it's hard to know when you're low energy. Because all you can do is say, have more energy. And that's hard to do. That's hard to ask for more energy from a cast, especially it was right before fall break, and it was still a weekday, and, you know, people had things to do, places to be. And as a director in college, it's hard to balance that. It's hard to be a director that needs 100% energy from a cast right out the gate, and also be a sympathizing college student who knows exactly, actually an empathizing college student who knows exactly what they're going through, and, you know, doesn't want to push them too hard. So after we did that scene, we did another scene. It was still really low energy, and I was like, you know what, guys, we gotta fix this. And we were in a building that, it was basically, the building was just the perimeter of the area, and inside it was like a courtyard almost. And they had balconies that went up the stairs. We were on the second level. So I was like, guys, we need to work on projection anyway a little bit. Let's go outside to the balconies. And that's what we did. So I had half the cast for a scene go on one balcony and half the cast go on the other side of the building on the other balcony. And what I had them do is I had them perform the scenes to each other over the courtyard. I did that personally in one of my shows freshman year, and I thought it was a great experience because it really helped us see the monologues in a new light, albeit it was Shakespeare, so it was a little bit different, but it helped us see the monologues in a new light, helped us with projection, all this stuff. And I never forgot about it. That's the thing, that's the experiences I bring back to this cast, are the ones I never forgot for a purpose. So I had them do this, and I still noticed how low morale was. And for me, that's really hard to conceive because as a freshman, when I was acting in a show, and this was a Shakespeare show, I had homework too. I had things to do. I had things to study for. I was in a philosophy class that I had to read and write essays for. But when it came to rehearsal, that was my time to forget about school and just act. And it was such a freeing experience because I was able to just let go of all of my responsibilities, if only for a couple hours, and just really let go and give my character everything that I had, no matter how little energy I was left with. And that's what I expect from my cast. And honestly, I don't think I'm asking too much to expect that. You know, some days I get it more than anything in the world. I'm a senior this year. I've been through 3 years of college. I've been through the classes I want to take, classes I don't want to take, the gen eds, the major specific. I've been through everything at this point. And now I'm working on my final project as an honor student. So I think I can really relate to the idea of being tired and not wanting to be at rehearsal. So that brings us back to today. And today, I'm planning on sitting down with my cast and telling them that. I feel like I've been too lenient with scheduling. And that day on Wednesday, we wound up leaving at 7:30. So we not only started rehearsal late, so we didn't even start at 5. I don't even know when we started, but we ended early too. And that kind of perturbs me a little bit, to be completely honest, because I only have you scheduled for 3 short hours out of a day. And I can't imagine that it's too much to ask to have you be ready to act full out for 3 hours. You know, most rehearsals and I hate to be that person to bring up real life, but it's true. In real life and in real drama, there's rehearsals that go for hours on end, and you have to be all there. I remember even in high school, when we had rehearsals, I was only on tech at the time, so I wasn't acting, but I would see them after a full day of high school be able to act until 9 o'clock at night, all out. And, and when we did musicals, we did dancing and singing, and, they were just all there. And I feel like that's not the same now. And I get a little worried too, because today is fall break, is part of fall break. Tomorrow is also fall break, and I have a big chunk of change open for today and tomorrow, because today and tomorrow are university holidays. All of my cast were pretty much available. Now, I've had a couple people contact me and tell me they were going to be late, whatever, fine. But today was really important to take out that chunk of change of time so I could have my entire cast together. And so we can make notes together and improve together and really make this show something they want to go on stage and perform all out every show, no matter what. And so today I have to talk to them about that, because to have a cast start late and then end early, to not even use the time we budgeted for ourselves to truly make this show something worth performing, it does irk me a little bit. And I don't think it makes me angry. I don't think I'm upset by it, but I'm a little taken aback by it. I honestly thought there would be more morale and there would be more push to want to make this show better. And for me, I never went into this experience thinking that directing was something that I did on my own. I always found directing as a learning experience, and not just for the cast, but for myself as well. And, I'm teaching them to be better actors. And that doesn't mean by doing certain methods or by, improving this, improving that, specific areas. It's just giving them experience as an actor. Learn themselves what they like in a director, or what they like to see in a show. Every person in a theater, the cast, the crew, the director, the producer, everybody in a show is essentially an audience member, because we're looking at what do they want to see. And that's what I try to do whenever I'm blocking a scene. Is this going to make the audience laugh when they're supposed to? Is this going to make them react in some way, shape, or form? Are they going to be standing at the end of the show because they loved it so much that they just can't help but be on their feet to cheer for this cast? That's my goal. And I understand the cast when morale is low, especially in this time, because we can't quite interact with everybody, even though we know where we're supposed to be and where we're supposed to go, and it's difficult, and I understand that more than anybody, I think, but at the same time, I'm just nervous, I guess. I'm nervous about talking to them. I've noticed that as a first-time director, you look for a lot of approval. And at least for me, some first-time directors, they go into it thinking, I'm the director, I can do anything I want, and it doesn't matter what they think of me. And I've met people who are like that. And it's unfortunate, I feel like, to the theater community to meet someone who takes the glorious opportunity of directing such talent and trying to just be a tyrant through the whole thing and try to just take over. It doesn't matter what they think of me as long as it's what I put on stage. This is my doing. I give all the credit to myself, when in fact, as a director, your credit goes to your actors. They're the ones who carried out your vision. And so for me, as a first-time director, I'm noticing that I'm asking indirectly for their approval. I don't want them to not like me. And this is part of my own personality as well. I find that I look for a lot of people's approval. And that's not because I'm afraid of what people think of me. I've gotten away from that over time. As a college student, I don't care what people think of me anymore. But as a director and with a cast, and when you're trying to create art, that's where you search for the most approval. As an artist, as a director, as an actor, you never stop looking for your higher-ups' approval. And you never stop, if you're an artist, you never stop looking for a gallery to want you. As an actor, you never stop looking for, production companies to want you. And I'm finding as a director, you never stop looking for your actors to want you. I want to leave my actors with an experience that when they move on in life and when they go on to other shows, they want to use me as an example. They want to say, I love the way she did this, and bring that into other productions. And and I don't feel like that's too much to ask or that's narcissistic or anything, because at the same time, it's like, you want to leave an impression on people. And I don't want to be a director that was too lenient, that was too desperate for attention or too desperate for approval, that I've forgotten my art. And I think that's what I want to convey to them today. At the end of the day, all we're looking to do is put on a great show. We want people to remember us as a whole. And I want that too. And I want my cast to remember me. Not because necessarily I inspired them or because I left a mark on their heart or on their art or anything like that. I just want to be the director that they remember because I made an experience for them. And I gave them the opportunity to meet new people and make new friends and, have this opportunity to give Oscar Wilde the show he deserved when he first wrote it, and he was unfortunate not to have. And that's all I want for my cast. And, I got off topic, but basically what I'm coming back to is I have to talk to my cast today about wanting this as much as I do. And I understand that's a lot to ask. I've wanted this show for 1.5 years, and I finally gotten the opportunity to do it. And now that I've learned more about Oscar Wilde in the past and the ingratitude he received for this show, it makes me want it so much more. And it makes me a little emotional thinking about it and making me think about everything he deserved in 1895 when he wrote this show. And do I want my cast to want it as much as I do? Yes. Honestly, if I even have them want it as half as much as I do, I'll be just as happy, because it's so important to me. And I want it to be important to them because I want them to push harder and want more and work harder for it. But at the end of the day, all I really want in rehearsal is just their all. Just their 100% in character, ready to be who they want to be. And that's pretty much it. So this is a really long video, and I don't really intend on cutting it because I want it to be as raw and honest as possible. So if you made it through to this point, I thank you for your attention. I thank you for your love for the arts and for the theater, because this channel, that's what it's all about. It's not just about a thesis. It's not about a project anymore. This is about the arts and the theater and the show. So I thank you all so much for watching and listening to me ramble. I don't want to edit it because I feel like if I jump cut any of this, it will make absolutely no sense. Probably like a lot of it was before. But I do thank you more than I can possibly express for watching this and for giving me a chance to, not even a chance, but an opportunity to give this show and this cast what they deserve. So, thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you all very soon.